Welcome back to Press Review. Let's start by taking a look at today's front pages in the Middle East. The UAE's Khalij Times leads its front page reporting that 25 suspects have been arrested in connection with the bomb blast that killed 3 police personnel. It also reports that Russian Vladimir Putin has said Russia reserves the right to use all options in Ukraine to protect compatriots living in terror, but that Moscow would use force only as a last resort. The Saudi Gazette leads reporting that foreign ministers of the GCC states have approved the formation of a ministerial committee to further boost tourism cooperation among the member states. It also reports that Riyadh and Jeddah have been named among the top 10 cheapest cities in the world to live, according to a report issued by the Economist Intelligence Unit. Iran's Tehran Times leads its front page reporting that Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has pledged to uphold the Iranian nation's rights in the course of negotiations with world powers on its nuclear activities, saying that his government will not cross the red lines under any circumstances. It also reports that the Syrian government has accused Israel of sending fighters to help the rebels fight against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Lebanon's Daily Star leads with Iran, saying that Iran has said its powerful Revolutionary Guard has acquired missiles with multiple warheads, a step that it says is a major boost of its defence capabilities. It also reports that Ukraine's defence ministry has said that Russian forces have partly occupied a second missile defence unit in Crimea, but insists the missile depot is still under Ukrainian control. Egypt Independent leads its front page reporting on deposed President Mohamed Morsi's son, who was arrested a day earlier for drug possession. The paper says a final report on analysing samples taken from Abdullah Morsi and his friend indicates they took drugs. It also reports that North Sinai security services have arrested an 18-year-old suicide bomber who was going to detonate himself at a security site. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from UK papers. The Independent leads its Middle East section following the peace process between Palestine and Israel, reporting that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has urged Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to recognise Israel as the nation-state of the Jewish people. The paper says keeping up a process, albeit a hollow one, shields Israel from an escalation of international, particularly European criticism and boycotting, and prevents Mr Abbas from turning to the UN and other international organisations to combat the occupation and embarrass Israel. The Daily Telegraph also leads its Middle East section looking at Palestine-Israel peace talks, saying that a new report by the Israeli Bureau of Statistics has revealed that Israel increased settlement construction in the West Bank by as much as 123 in 2013, compared with the previous year. The paper says back in Israel, the statistics provoked an outcry among left-wing Israeli policymakers, while some on the right claimed the rate of the construction was not enough. And The Guardian leads reporting that a group of mainly Al Jazeera journalists have returned to court in Egypt for the second day of their trial on charges of spreading disinformation and abetting terrorists, a day after an Egyptian minister admitted that their incarceration was a mistake. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East stories from international papers. The LA Times reports that authorities detained and then turned away a San Francisco-based political activist after she arrived in Egypt with the intention of travelling to the Gaza Strip. The activist Medea Benjamin boarded a return flight to Istanbul, where her organisation said she planned to seek medical treatment for injuries suffered while in Egyptian custody. China Daily leads its Middle East section reporting that an Egyptian urgent matters court has ordered the seizure of Palestinian Hamas movement's assets in the country ahead of a final ruling. Local analysts say the recent ban may complicate Egypt's already tense ties with Gaza, where the movement is based. And lastly, the Times of India reports that Egyptian Armed Forces Chief Field Marshal Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has sent the clearest signal yet that he will run for president, saying he cannot ignore the demands of the majority. The paper says most Egyptians regard him as a decisive figure who can end the political turmoil that has gripped Egypt. And for more updates, please visit Levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.